There's a new Bernie Sanders fan-made ad that was just released. It's from the same creator of the last very, very viral Bernie ad that, we shared and many others shared, and it got millions and millions and millions of views. Well, now there's another one out. This is from Matt Orfala. Matt, I apologize if that's not how you pronounce your name. I believe I've been corrected on it once or twice, and now it's still... I have no idea if it's stuck. You know how I am when it's like Tom Steyer. And when they had the World Economic Forum at Davos. Davos. So I'm just bad with names like that. But anyway, here's the ad. I believe it's titled MLK and Bernie versus Trump. Watch.
As one of the great leaders in American history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "Call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. But there must be a better distribution of wealth within this country for all of God's children."
The poor, black and white, are still perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity.
There is something immoral about 3 families in America owning more wealth than the bottom half of America.
Yes, the hour is dark. Evil comes forth in the guise of good. It is a time of double talk.
But I'm not advocating guns in classrooms, although in some cases teachers should have guns in classrooms.
Men in high places have a high blood pressure of deceptive rhetoric.
Alternative facts.
We crowd against welfare handouts to the poor.
The Trump administration is scaling back social safety net programs,
but generously approve an oil depletion allowance to make the rich richer.
The Dakota Access Pipeline.
Not only that, millions of dollars in federal subsidies every year.
The Trump administration has authorized $16 billion this year alone to agribusiness.
Millions, yes, billions are appropriated for mass murder.
Donald Trump today called for more military spending.
Senate passes $674 billion military spending bill. Every single Democratic senator supported the bill. Every Democratic senator supported the bill. One independent senator, Bernie Sanders, opposed it.
American people say, I can't afford to send my kid to college. I can't afford childcare. I can't afford housing. We need help there. But nobody listens to that. We don't have lobbyists here fighting for working families so they can find affordable housing or affordable prescription drugs. Now, Donald Trump has told literally thousands of lies, but the biggest lie was that he was going to stand up for working families.
What they truly advocate is socialism for the rich.
83% of the benefits of his tax bill go to the 1%.
A true revolution of values will soon look uneasily on the glaring contrast of poverty and wealth.
Which says to the billionaire class, you can't have it all.
Now we are dealing with issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars and undergoing a radical redistribution of economic power.
I didn't hear the establishment moaning about how radical and crazy it was that trillions of dollars left the pockets of the middle class. Now, when I'm talking about giving the middle class a break, all these guys
No, you're giving a normative argument. I agree with it. The question is, how do you get it done?
Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit.
Welcome to the political revolution. You want a candidate who is going to defeat Donald Trump? You're looking at that
Whenever Pharaoh wanted to prolong the period of slavery in Egypt, he had a favorite formula for doing it. What was that?
candidate. Doing what demagogues always do.
He kept the slaves fighting among themselves. But when the slaves get together, that's the beginning of getting out of slavery.
Staying together not as red state and blue state, but as working people fighting for dignity. We must finally create a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. And that is what I mean by democratic socialism.
These are revolutionary times.
Goddamn, I'm ready to run through a wall after watching that. Holy cow, that was good. Just this week, there were a number of polls that came out which have great news for Bernie. He opened up quite a lead in Iowa. He opened up quite a lead in New Hampshire. He also, in some national polls now, some new national polls, is right there neck and neck with Biden. So that's awesome and that's great. But I want to reiterate something that you're going to hear me say a lot for the rest of this election. I do not care what happens, and I do not care what the polls show right now. Pretend we're 10 points down, and pretend our back is to the wall, and now you have to fight twice as hard, 3 times as hard, 4 times as hard. You have to give it everything you got. Pretend that we're down and work your butt off. I always reference that, Tiger Woods quote. This isn't a quote, I'm paraphrasing here, but if he's leading by 1, he wants to be leading by 3. If he's leading by 3, he wants to be leading by 5. If he's leading by 5, he wants to be leading by 10. If he's leading by 10, he wants to be leading by 20. He doesn't just want to beat you. He wants to obliterate you. Jimmy Dore also pointed this out. In order for Bernie to win, he needs to over-win, because we don't want to go into the second ballot. We don't want to go into the second ballot where the DNC could try to screw him yet again. So we have to crush the competition. Honestly, we have to do within the Democratic primary what Trump did in the Republican primary, where his win was so overwhelming that even though they wanted to cheat him, they couldn't. That's what we have to do. And if you needed more of a reason to get out there and fight, I think this ad provides it. It really does show you. Now, this is politically incorrect to say. It is. A lot of people get mad at you. And they'll get mad at you particularly because, Bernie Sanders is an old white guy, although he's also Jewish, but for some reason they just dock him his minority points and act like that doesn't count. He's an old white guy, and he happens to be the candidate that more closely aligns with Dr. King's philosophy than anybody else. It's the truth. Don't take my word for it. Take Nina Turner's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Take Killer Mike's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Take, let the policies do the talking. And it just so happens that all these policies that Bernie Sanders is fighting for happen to be the same policies that Dr. King was fighting for in the People's Campaign. So this is all so important. And that ad really crystallizes the fight that we're in. And by the way, even if Bernie gets elected, the work's not done. Bernie's going to call on you to hit the streets, because we're never going to get Medicare for all or free college without going out there and making the politicians give it to us, because he's going to hit a wall of opposition, not just in the Republican Party, which is a given, but at least half the Democratic Party. So it's going to be on us to say, no, we're with this guy. We're with this guy. So anyway, I think that's super important. Great ad, Matt, you're the man, and everybody, do us a favor, do him a favor, share this far and wide, because it doesn't get much better than this.